sometimes I have a Larry David moment, and I'm right in the middle of one right now, and I could probably use your help at home, because I think what I am facing is something you faced yourself. Here at this wonderful company, Sportsbet, I have had to do something that you would have to do at your workplace, I'm sure, and that is compliance training, a box ticking exercise, tick, 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 and I rallied against it because I did it. I've already done it. They said, no, that's a year ago. You got to do it again. So I did it last week. It was a Zoom. I listened. I answered all the questions. The lady who did it was lovely, and that's the end of that. Then I get an email today. It's another training session. This is where the Larry David moment kicks in. I'm going to take a stand. I'm sorry. I did not sign to do a training session once a week here at Sportsbet. I'm not an employee. That's been made abundantly clear. Why am I being treated like an employee? So I'm thinking, what would you do at home if you've been hit with this? And this is a hobby, this job for me, so I can sort of be a little Larry David-esque.
Hobby.
So I thought, well, I could say no, but I know they're going to tell me I have to do it. So for you at home, and in honour of Larry David, I'm charging Sportsbet my full rate. If they want me to do this training session, that's my time. I'm taking a Larry David-like stand. I am charging for my time on Thursday, 11:30am till 12:30pm. I am charging my podcast rate, and I'm not doing it for me, and it's not to fill my wallet. I don't care. I'm doing it for you. I just want you to remember that I'm representing the working man, because I'm a man of the people. So I will be charging full rate to do a market compliance training session, because I'm apparently a brand ambassador, a Sportsbet creation. The other thing's a government compliance thing. That's fine. Look, I get it. It's betting, it's gambling. I get it. You've got to do all that. But I'm sorry.
As Joel was my witness, Dan, before you arrived today, did I not say this to our wonderful colleague, Chrissy, who's in charge, looks after us, puts all the training together, keeps us on the straight and narrow.
She had to deal with me last week.
Yeah, she did. I said, look, Chrissy, I'm just warning you, this will not make Dan happy. There's going to be a response here, so just be ready for it. And she leant back and said, yes, Sean, I know. So she's fully aware of what's to come. Big fan of the show, so she'll hear it.
No, like Chrissy, we got off on the wrong foot last week because of because of the last compliance meeting.
I can guarantee it was your foot and not her foot that got off the wrong way.
Oh, there was attempted humour that probably wasn't needed.
By you?
No, I'm not saying. Anyway, that's it. I just wanted to get that off my chest.
Feel better?
I feel so much better.
I
feel so much better. Why, Joel, the companies have to have these compliance or these box-ticking exercises? Why do they have to do it? And every company does it. It's not just Sportsbet. It's not just investment gambling companies. It is every company. You would have to do it at your radio station.
Yeah. Here we go.
Bring it in, team. Bring it in. Okay, so the reason I think this show is so all-conquering, so successful is for this. We cater for all, folks. You've got this man here, Dan Ganane, who's just lives his life. He worries about Dan.
Yes.
Second concern is Dan, and third concern is Dan.
Correct.
Then you have our man,
yes.
DIN, doubling come no kids, Sean the trader, who's driving around in a Range Rover. Life's good. You know, then you get old mate Jolie boy here.
Can I interrupt for 1 second? I'll give you the camera back in a moment.
Yeah, so it goes back to the...
No.
Yeah, okay.
Do you sometimes think, how does Sean have a 5-bedroom house in Carroll? I think that sometimes. I don't understand how he...
I know exactly how he has it.
Well, it's
double income, no kids is exactly how he has it. It's the same way that you've got people measuring up to the millimetre. Your biggest problem is having your frames aligned. But then you have the people, and you know if you're one of those folks who, backpack full of bricks, cement gumboots on, you wake up, it's another day, 4 kids, mortgage upon us, and we just truck along, don't we, folks? And you know what? Squeaky wheel gets the oil, and guess what? We're not the ones who are the squeaky wheel. We should be, but we're not. We're not.
Joel.
We march on.
You complain 4 kids. Mate, you drove around last week looking for a kid to take to hospital. You drove around last week and then showed me a picture.
I didn't show you a picture.
You did. You showed me a picture of some kid with his leg bent the other way.
What about
I took this kid to hospital.
Quick little peek behind the curtain, because we've got the new Sunday
show.
review show
Thank you
now.
for watching, everyone.
So we
Thank you for
reconvened
watching.
here Sunday night. I've never seen a man so content with himself. He was horizontal on the couch out here outside the studio.
Wasn't he just?
Watching the Canberra Manly game. He kicked the shoes off. He had his rank socks out.
I did.
I've never seen a bloke that was just so content, so happy to have a little bit of quiet time.
Because you guys take that stuff for granted. I don't. I cherish the
I think
moment.
I know what
Change
Joel's angry about.
I'm not angry.
Sounds angry.
There was nastiness there.
Am I jealous sometimes of you blokes? Yes. Yes, I am.
When the Sunday show was put together, there was a meeting time very early on Sunday, relatively speaking, which would have knocked me out of half the shows. And I said, look, there's probably no point me. I actually said, very nice, I said, 16 out of 27 shows. I said, there's no point me doing. I'm not going to do 16 out of 27. That doesn't do the show any good. Doesn't. If you push it back an hour, I can do just about all of them. I think that's got you off because now it's Sunday night. We're doing the show.
He was very happy.
Oh,
I've never seen
push it back another hour.
more content man on that couch.
Push it back 2 hours.
He was comfortable.
Very
wasn't
comfortable.
You should have seen
I don't get to do that.
Hang on, you should have
Feet on
seen-
a company couch too.
I don't get to do that, folks. Some
many-
people spend the whole weekends, every weekend doing that. I never get to do it.
How many packets of cheesels did you consume when you arrived on Sunday?
The over's back has got paid, Sean. And it'll happen next
Holy
week too.
hell.
Yeah, and apparently they tell me in Melbourne, seat on couch, on company couch, won't get a tick in marketing compliance training.
Yeah, well,
marketing compliance. So, no, that's okay. I'll do these now without complaint, but I will be charging. So that's all. That's my message to Sportsbet. Wonderful company, but that's full rate. All right, let's get to some, and thank you again, seriously, for watching the Sunday show. We had a lot of people tune in.
Numbers good?
Good enough. Hey, they're paying me. I don't care. Joel's right. It is just about me. But no, very nice audience. So nice to find a home there. Thank you. We'll continue to do that. It is odd. You find it odd we're back here 3 days later. I love it. I'm not saying I don't like it, but it's a new feeling.
Well, for me, I've got quite a regimented beard sort of trimming calendar that I keep to. And the Sunday show has just thrown it out the window, Dan, because I had to give it a little trim up Sunday morning, just being on national TV that night. And now I got to Wednesday and I thought, what am I doing here? Just need a tiny little trim up.
You blokes have got no idea what's in front of you.
He
No idea.
He is the guy. You know those viral videos at the moment of the bloke at 3:53 a.m. who wakes up and has his coffee and does his push-ups and then writes his...
in my journal.
He's that guy. He is that guy. Let's get to some... thank you, everyone, for putting up with our rubbish for the first 10 minutes. The story of the week is obvious. I'd love to know your first thought about the whole Daly Cherry-Evans scenario, how it played out, where it leaves Daly.
Hats off to the headline writers as well.
Yeah, better than Cherry Bomb. I'm over Cherry Bomb, right? Cherry Bomb you get one crack at early, that's it. You can't have it as a headline 2 days later or use it in conversation. It's one of those cliches that gets stale very quickly. Time to call it a daily. I find the whole thing, and I'll let you guys talk longer, but I find the whole thing has been planned. It's just, hang on. Daly Cherry-Evans happens to be on the Channel 9 show. It's a pre-recorded show. They can drop it on the 9 News, and then they can push people to this. Very clever, genius stuff. But hang on, they're recording at the same time as 360 is going live to air. We've got a stringer watching, and now we're going to report what they're reporting. That's the 9 angle. Well done them. 10 years ago, it was very orchestrated what Daly Cherry-Evans did, from signing with the Gold Coast to the backflip and the way he played it out. It happened to be on... He all of a sudden, out of the blue, did a Fox Super Saturday on the panel for 7 hours. and then dropped the hint that he may be ready to backflip. That was all orchestrated, and that's fine. That's if he wants to play the game that way, perfectly entitled to do so. I think there's more twist in this, Joel. What do you think?
I think he's at the Roosters next year.
You're locking it in.
That's all I think. Yeah.
You're locking it in.
I think he's played it like it's been a masterclass of how he's handled it, like so smart, because he's exited the last 2-3 days completely clean, and all the garbage has been slung at Manly. How they have stuffed this up royally, it's all on them. And now we can just sit back. He's not going to be asked a question. It's going to be directed at the club, not as opposed. I don't really buy into the fact that people are saying that, well, he's put it to bed. It's not going to create noise. There's still going to be a lot of noise around it, but I don't think it's going to be directed at Daly. He's got his cards on the table. It's Manly that's in the gun now, and they have to wash it up.
I'll take the unders on one of my favourite podcasts is Straight Talk Mark Burris. I'll take under 6.5 weeks.
Oh, DCE.
The Daly Cherry-Evans is the prized token on that.
Is under 6.5 weeks before Origin camp?
No, under 6.5 weeks from now.
That's
I
about
don't know when it is. By the way, just for a different angle, I had this question for radio. Hypothetically, 2-year deal.
Yep.
2-year deal for the same spondula.
Mm-hmm.
Daly Cherry-Evans, Lockie Galvin, Dylan Brown or Payne Haas. For a 2-year deal, modus operandi to win the comp. Evans, Galvin, Brown,
The
Haas.
next 2 years. And are they gone at the end of those 2 years? Definitely
Well,
gone.
no guarantees. It's just like it's a 2-year deal.
It's horses for courses, though, like everything, though, because there'll be different
Just
scenarios
answer
for
the
different
question,
clubs.
boys.
Who was so Galvin Haas?
You got a 2-year
Cherry
deal
Evans.
to win the comp, whichever
I get
club
that.
you are.
Joel, just tell me.
Daly
the names.
Cherry-Evans,
Yeah.
Lachlan Galvin,
Yeah.
Dylan Brown or Payne Haas.
Cherry.
He's right. It depends. Do they need a halfback? Yes, Cherry-Evans. Cherry-Evans. But I would take Galvin because I'll take the odds that I can convince him to stay after the 2 years.
Yeah, okay, all right. 49%
Or poll. Have you polled
I've
this?
polled it.
Oh, wow.
Twitter poll.
49% say Daly Cherry-Evans
Yeah.
for 2 years. They would on an open marketplace. This is Payne Haas, Lachlan Galvin and Dylan Brown. 38%
None of them have won anything.
say who?
Galvin.
Oh, Haas.
Haas.
Yeah, Haas.
12% say who?
Oh, now you've thrown me.
Oh, well, Galvin. 1% say Brown.
Yep.
Yeah,
Good
thank
maths.
you. Yeah, thank you.
Maths.
Thank you.
Your other question was better. If you only had, what's the tipping point? If you only had 1 year,
At what point do you not go Daly?
At what point are you not selecting Daly Cherry-Evans over Lockie Galvin?
If I asked the same
1
question
year,
for 3 years,
Yeah.
what would the answer be?
it's Galvin.
Or Haas?
Oh, sorry, you only before outside. There was
Yeah.
only the two options.
Anyway.
I tend to agree. I'm not as strident as you, Joel, but I tend to agree that this has all been done. The way he's playing this out means he's 2 steps ahead, Cherry-Evans, and his management's 2 steps ahead. So he knows where this is going, which I agree with you is probably Roosters. People say, oh, he's a Redcliffe boy, and wouldn't that be great? Yeah, but now you've got to move the family. The idea of staying in Sydney, the management, I wasn't aware. I don't follow who manages who. That's just not a world I particularly am interested in. But it is of note that the Tedesco-Reece Robson connection with the same manager, it does make too much sense. How it played out's fascinating, Joel and Sean, is that apparently Cherry-Evans claims he told Manly in December he was moving on after Manly only offered a year. Now, we're led to believe Manly said, or at least intimated, whether they said it directly, if you get a better offer, come back to us.
What does that mean?
That's a poor way of negotiating.
Oh, poor.
Like that's an honest way of negotiating, but it's a poor way of negotiating. It's like saying, we'll only pay you what you're worth if someone else wants to pay you what you're worth.
It's not how you treat a player that's been there.
No,
for
I
15
agree
years.
with
Even he's clearly had a bit of history of his own, in those contract situations. But it's not how you treat a player.
But hang on. We're all slapping Manly for this. Hello? Like, the manager, I don't know who the manager is, but if you can't have gone to the market and came back to Manly with somebody who's got a formal offer, what is Pepe Le Pewing? Seriously. Like, if there was a draft for Daly Cherry-Evans, we did this, Brian and I.
Yeah.
He would run 4th in a halfback mock draft. What is Pepe Le Pewing? He got to get $1 million, doesn't he?
Pretty close.
Got to.
Above the table? Yes, no, I'm sorry. That's
okay, I'm fired up. Let's do this. Come on, impromptu.
Oh, yes.
Impromptu, let's do this.
I love
Not
it.
my go. Let's do this.
I love it.
No reason to do that. I just felt it commanded a bit of power. Karen Rolton Oval. Have you been there, guys?
Who?
Karen Rolton Oval. Have you been there?
Not the way I expect you to start shooting, Bambi. No, I have not.
Okay, Karen Rolton Oval happens to be the scene of the Sheffield Shield final. South Australia and Queensland.
Oh, the big one.
People are off the bit saying, why is this final not at the SCG? Why is this final not at the Adelaide Oval? Why is it not at the MCG? And so forth. I'll tell you why. Because there's about 2,000 people at the Karen Rolton Oval. There's about 2,000 people. It holds 7,000 people. Ladies and gentlemen, as sad and as good as it is, supply and demand dictates this world. Conversely, people are ringing up saying, rugby league's lost the plot. I've gone on to see State of Origin tickets and they're $300 in this section. You know what? I've been to regular season games in the NFL, double the price. Supply and demand is what it's all about. If you can get the price, charge it. If you can't and you end up at Karen Rolton Oval, so be it. Thoughts?
Well, I thought you were the true man of the people, and you've just basically said, well, if you can't afford it, stuff you. I agree. Why do we only care about Sheffield Shield when it suits an argument? Not you. I'm saying
if Karen Rolton Oval was sold out, I would take the argument.
No one cares about the Sheffield Shield. Usman Khawaja would rather go to the Louis Vuitton thing.
Impromptu?
Impromptu. So I would, if they sold out Karen Rolton Oval.
You just like saying, firstly,
he does, doesn't he?
Let's establish you like saying Karen Rolton Oval. There is something about that makes that sound like a hick ground, to be honest.
KRO, I call it. Yeah.
Who's Karen when she's at home?
Can I ask for a market, please? Because you've reminded me of something, because they were in a battle with AFL. By the way, the Brisbane stuff looks magnificent. I love the plan for the Olympics. So well done them.
Heartfelt apology as well from the government. We're doing a little back.
Different government. Oh, that reminds me. Labor 262 last week. What are they now? They own 262. They're $1.72. So I hope you got in. I didn't have a cracker on it. So of course, I've nailed the market because I have no piece of it. But the Tasmanian stadium is becoming a debacle where cricket has now said we're not going to play there at this new stadium that no one seems to want except AFL. $750 million for a 20,000 seat stadium because the roof it's going to create shadows. We can't play because there's going to be shadows because of the steel bars holding the clear roof up. We can't play there. So now you're going to build a $750 million ground for 8 games a year because the rest of Tasmania has to be appeased as well. So Northern Tasmania has to have its ground done up at Lonnie. So my question is,
Lonnie,
who plays first? Because I don't think either. I think either of them could go.
You been to Launceston?
No.
Lonnie.
Tasmania
been there.
Tigers.
You're kidding.
Who plays the first senior game? The Tasmania Tigers, the Tasmania Devils, not the cricket team, or the PNGs?
Ooh.
I think there's
really
odds about neither starting. I'm just putting that out. I just want.
I like that.
The PNG thing is just, there's something a bit off about that. Something's off. What if there's a change of government? Anyway, so,
You nailed that little paper shuffle as well.
Of course I did.
It was good.
I didn't realise it was a shot at me, but anyway, that's fine.
Wasn't.
That's fine. Promo of the Sunday night review show, it says here, so here we go. We're on Sunday night. 9:15 again after, so what's the,
Can Hammy give us a plug? Can we get Hammy to give us? He's on the main stage.
Give us a plug straight away.
Okay, good.
What's Hammy's strike rate this year? Because he's on the Maddie show right as we're about to go on air.
It is just the most perfect opportunity. It is Cliffy towards Beaver.
Short ball.
Just hit us with the short ball.
Short ball.
Yeah.
Okay, well. How
I
many?
thought, pretty good first up. Did you?
Yes. For a first show, yes. No, I did. I thought it seemed to go pretty slick. Pretty slick. There's good English. So good game on Sunday night. West Tigers Warriors, very competitive. I just got side eye from Joel that suggests he might think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a competitive game. A very competitive game. Then Matty Johns.
Competitive.
And
I'll
then,
take competitive.
Well, so I'm more in on the West Tigers than you blokes. And I still want to have that bet. Can you put this market up? Mm-hmm. West Tigers will finish ahead of Roosters on the ladder.
Yeah, we can do that. That's a little.
I want odds.
That's a little Dan v. Shug head battle almost. Okay.
Because you are convinced the Roosters are better than the Tigers.
Yeah.
I think Roosters at their best are better than the Tigers, but they're not. Again, the Roosters.
I love my Tigers.
I'm all in the Chooks v Tigers on the moon.
Odds.
On the moon at Pickham. You're all in Roosters there, aren't you?
Yeah, but hang on. I need odds. I don't want $1.90 each at two. I want odds.
Yeah. Okay.
I want odds. There are some crazy odds this week, I think, in that there are some wild starts, double-digit odds, where I'm not sure double-digit odds are warranted, and it starts with Thursday night football. South Sydney versus Penrith at Accor. South want to leave there, apparently. I thought that was where their home base was, and that's where in 2007, that's where all their fans were. That's what their surveys told us, but now apparently Moore Park is where their fans are. Anyway, I'm being cynical. 11.5 is the line here for a Penrith side missing, obviously, Nathan Cleary. I haven't got the team in front of me, but when you've got a Cole Tolau halves combination, Dane Laurie in for Dylan Edwards, I know South were way off against Cronulla. Joel, I don't think they're that bad. I don't think South are that bad on a no atmosphere Thursday night. I can see them keeping this at least moderately close.
I don't know. We've been talking cricket grounds. I'm shouldering arms. I've got no idea here. Yeah. My gut feel is...
I've got some of an idea here.
Ivan Cleary, completely two different coaches. Ivan Cleary, master planner, play after play. He did that against the Melbourne Storm. Wayne's about being fit, completing...
And this is why this game suits them to an absolute T.
Who?
The Bunnies.
Yep.
Night game.
No Graham.
Bit of rain around Sydney town. Around this game. The Sharkies game did not suit them, and they were absolutely flogged in that first half, and the Sharkies should have went on with it. The scoreline did flatter South in the end, but this is all set up. I can't, in what world can we get it to double figures without Cleary and Nathan and Dylan Edwards? Sugar.
No.
As I said to you, so this is the exercise. We're not trying to crystal ball here and trying to predict what happens. You look at both scenarios, and then the odds will take you where you have to go. Plus, is it 11.5 or 10.5?
You got $11.5.
$3.80.
Yeah, I find $3.80 is actually a little tempting, but 11.5 certainly seems.
And I know
tempting.
everyone's got wrapped up in how good the Panthers were against the Melbourne Storm. Storm had a few things go against them as well down there. It was a great game, and they did well to stay close after Cleary went off after 5 or 6 minutes, whatever it was. I really thought that they were going to keep Jack Cole in the halfback spot. He looked like he came into his own when Cleary left the ground. Now, his first half and his second half were two completely different stories. His first half was still a bit scratchy, but then it seemed like he took charge of the team. I actually really liked what I saw from him in that sort of chief playmaking role, but they've gone back. But Blaise Talangi probably offers a bit more off the bench. I can see that.
Yeah. Don't get bogged down on the 6 and 7 number.
Mate, Isaiah Yeo is the halfback of this team, isn't he? Isaiah Yeo runs this show.
He's a link man, yeah. I'll tell you, that was the greatest thing ever to happen to Jack Cole. Because could you imagine how intimidating it is to be the Robin to the Batman of Nathan Cleary? He grew. Because I honestly thought this might be his last ever first grade game. Cleary goes off. Oh. No, I did. Because he was just passive. He just grew. And then to the point where NRL clubs would be going, ooh, this kid's pretty sharp. Yeah.
A very confident kid. I heard him interviewed before the Vegas game, and he had a sense, and I say this in the most positive fashion, of real entitlement to that spot. You're like, yeah, I deserve it.
Good.
It's exactly what you want. Yeah, I think I'm the best man for the job, because it was supposed to be Talangi, of course. You've got Tom Jenkins in the centres. He did a nice job last week, actually.
Milky.
So, yeah, South for me. You've got
3 weeks in a row their opponent has scored their first try on the right-hand side.
Yeah,
Sloan, Asako and Hines with a very easy try last week. So for me, look to the right-hand side. First, second or third try. Woo! Liam.
Yeah, I like this.
Martin.
L. Martin.
I had him for a flare a couple of weeks ago. He'd let me down, so that means he's due. Due. I like it. I like it a lot.
I like that first, second, or third as well. I'm not sure about totals in any of these games.
50 and a half.
Yeah, big watch out is the weather.
50 and a half's too many.
Just how big these totals are. Little worry about Michaeli Ravalawa defending on that right edge.
Little worry.
Go back and watch Braden Trindle's try. It needed Benny Hill music. He was. I think he might have got the lines mixed up.
What there in Wynn Stadium?
I thought...
There in Wynn Stadium where he had been defending.
Yeah, I know.
I thought...
That's where he was running. He was backpedaling.
I, as usual, misread the WhatsApp. I thought I had the flair for this game. As soon as I saw Michaeli Ravalawa, I just got Brian To'o double, and it was under. It was 285 for a double. That's how little respect we have for Michaeli Ravalawa's defence.
And no Campbell Graham inside him either.
Yes. Roosters v Titans, a fascinating one here. 6 p.m. Allianz. Roosters -6.5. Big out for Roosters, Connor Watson, who has, in all the stuff they've done well, he's been a part of it. Nat Butcher is back. Zach Docker-Clay to starting number 9. Gold Coast, I tell you what, they're in form. You've got to say that. Jalen de Groot in for Keanu Kenny was doing media the day after his performance on the weekend, but he now has a neck injury, so he's out. Jalen de Groot, who's quick, is going to be the number 1. You're shouldering arms at the first game, Joel. I'm shouldering arms at this game. I kind of like Gold Coast here, but no, I can't say it with any authority.
It's been a big move so the Kinney news broke before team list Tuesday happened. So it was Tuesday afternoon. It went from 4.5 up to 6.5, and I was struggling to get it north of 4.5 before that. So I think this is going to be a really good game. Titans were good. Had to withstand a fair bit of pressure from the Knights early last week, and that was something they haven't been able to do for the last couple of years. So maybe they found a bit of defensive resolve. The Bulldogs prior to that, the week before, knocked them off the park early. The forwards were too fired up and they just got bashed first up. Is 6.5 too big, Joel?
Probably about right, but I'm keen on the Roosters buffet rule. You got to feel.
Just remind us quickly, buffet rule.
Buffet rule's a team who's off a big win, travelling away on a plane, ideally taking on a team who's lost, which is the case of the Roosters. I think the Roosters win this. However, if you're Tommy Weaver, jersey number 19, the option for them long term is Foran comes back. So therefore, Campbell can go to fullback.
Where does Cherry-Evans fit in all this?
No. I'm talking about de Groot. So the option could have been right now for Weaver to go to halfback with Brimson and Campbell go to fullback, but they've clearly opted for de Groot. So I'm very keen to see what happens with Tommy Weaver.
Okay.
I like the Roosters.
A little bit of a worry around Mark Nwanga-Ntawase's defence. Ball in hand, he's looked really good and really strong, and him and Tupou still got a couple of things to work out for a connection. But defensively, still got a little bit of a work to do. I think if the Titans can get enough good ball, they have to be going towards that side of the field. I don't know what he was doing there against the Wars last week. They have to be going towards their right. Filthy Philip Sammy, named in the centres but played on a wing as well. I think you might be able to get a sneaky little price about Sammy as well.
Billy Smith's played a heap of left centre. He's a gun. He's carving up in reserve grade, I'm told. So that's a watch.
Ooh, okay.
All right, okay.
Do as you please.
Now, I've got the flair, and again, I'm not sure about this game. This is only if you think the Roosters are going to win this game, this flair. Only. This is an asterisk flair. Young and Tedesco to combine for 3+ tries at $4.33. I think the Titans' left side is a little flimsy defensively, and Tedesco's everywhere at the moment. So
an asterisk flair? Be in the asterisk. Come on. Get around.
I like it.
I'm just telling the punters, I believe in it. If you think the Roosters win, go it. I think it's good odds.
It's going to be a good game. Hope it's dry. Could be really good.
I tell you what, I like the idea of a 6 p.m. at Allianz.
Yeah.
So I can see myself at the end of the game, Joel. You can too. Just straight to the members and just watching the late game on Friday night footy with a couple of beverages. That's not a bad Friday evening.
How long will they leave that open for?
Not long enough, sadly. No. Not long enough anyway. But we're men of the people. We know nothing about the members. Now we get to the match of the night on Friday. Yes, Broncos versus Dolphins. That is our game. Let me correct myself here. Dolphins home game here. Last time I was there, the last time at Suncorp, and it was an unbelievable atmosphere. There were more Dolphins fans than Broncos fans, which completely blew me away. What blew me away even more was the Dolphins won 40-6. First time they'd won the Battle of Brisbane. And Katoni Staggs back for the Broncos here. Dolphins, they're in quicksand here. 0-3, lost a game they had, you wouldn't say in the bag, but they certainly had control of. Broncos looked unbelievable last week. And I tell you what, if the Dolphins let in a lot of points against the West Tigers, no knock on the Tigers, boy, they need to be better this week against a red-hot attack in Brisbane.
Went back and looked through the Dolphins forward pack and how they've been going post-contact metres-wise, Shug. They're in the negative column in all three. Last week, it was over 113 metres negative compared to the opposition.
They're making or the forward pack?
Well, the whole team.
Yeah.
But they're not making any yardage, and I was really disappointed with last week. They had every excuse under the sun after 2 weeks of footy.
A KO.
With Alfred going to Newcastle. You're back home against the West Tigers side, who I think everyone can agree, they beat up on a poor Parramatta side. They're still very much mid-pack. They're far from the elite. You're trying to get your first win of the year, and they didn't really fire a punch in that. Well, they didn't fire a shot at all. They didn't score in the second half. And this is what really disappointed me. The line speed, and we're only going to look at one set here from the Finns, but it was, you're leading 18-12, you're at home, they've just given away a 7-tackle set. So now it's time to knuckle down. I think that was maybe the third tackle that we're going to see of this set. But just watch their defensive line. They're so passive. They're walking up.
That's off the slow play, the ball too.
Very slow. Now this one's not slow. This is off Terrell May, a huge run. He goes for an offload, somehow still plays the ball fast. But there's just no... If you were to line that up against a Panthers line speed, it is completely chalk and cheese. That's in front of you on your home deck. You haven't won a game yet. You're leading by 6 points. You've got it all to play for, and they didn't really fire a shot. And it's left a really bad taste in my mouth. They were my best bet last week, Shug. So it might have been...
That cost us.
It might have been that. It did. That was a meatloaf.
Oh, look, worst possible timing, Dan, because Madge is not happy with how they're going, the Broncos. Yeah. And they are legit, the Broncos. Reece Walsh not catching fire.
Can't believe someone...
Worst possible time to chase your first win at your opponent's home ground. I'm all in the Broncos.
Wow.
Tony Staggs comes back.
See, I like the line here. It's a big line.
They're a good team, Dan, this Broncos.
I agree with that. It's fascinating that Staggs replaces Mariner and not Shibasaki.
Yeah, but he's a natural right player.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that, but that's a big call. I mean, Shibasaki, let's call him what he is. He's been a journeyman.
Yeah, but call him what he is.
He's been good this year.
Madge is calling it what it is.
He's been good this year.
Yeah.
He has been very good this year. I grant you that. Who's got the flair for this game?
I've got the flair here. I don't know where to land in terms of the line because I need to look at the weather, the radar closer to kickoff. But I think most of Eastern Australia's got some rain happening.
Yeah.
So take that. That's a weather watch. So I'm going first try scorer here. Cobbo on the right. Herbie switched back to the left now, so they weren't happy with...
Why did he go to the right in the first place?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. But he's back.
He won a centre of the year on the left.
But he's back to the left, and him and Bostock as a combo had some issues last week. I know it's only one game, so you might be able to forget that, but I think they can have some luck. Reece Walsh is about to catch fire. He's had 2 bad games, and they're talking about him like he's had a bad year.
He's 22.
And he's like... He will catch fire at some point, and you know that line he likes to run left to right. They might have a bit of a field day down that side of the field. 5
errors last week, but he also had a magical try assist, a majestic offload, and a 40-20, which was at an important stage.
The year they made the grand final, he had the most errors in the comp.
55.
Go back and watch every single one of them. Have a look where they are.
Yeah.
It's red zone
Gunslinger.
attack. Gunslinger.
Yeah.
You want him to play
on.
and it'll click at some point.
Red zone.
Red zone gunslinger.
Come on, Westpac red zone.
Yes.
St George Illawarra versus Melbourne Storm. Now, this is when the rain, Saturday in Sydney is expected to be really wet. Now, that could change by the time we get there, but as we do this, take rain into account. Cogra Oval is the venue. Melbourne, you got a Munster-Wishart combination. No Nelson, no Nick Meaney. Their record without Jerome Hughes is actually poor. 1-3 last year, Melbourne Storm. Dave Clemmer in for the Dragons for his first game for them. This is a game Melbourne usually swallows up, isn't it, Joel?
I kind of wanted to be with the Dragons with the big stars in, but now there's a challenge for Bellamy and the team.
Yeah, talk me through this. I can't quite get on board with you here.
You've got the Dragons off a bye, you've got Melbourne off a big win, and now they've got to travel. So ordinarily, I'd like the Dragons. However, now you've got people point to prove.
Yeah.
You know, Wishart comes in, no Nelson. Oh, it's another shoulder arms job.
Dragons.
Oh, you can't hang on. Whoa.
Well, I'll be honest.
Whoa. This is television. This is 2020. This isn't a test match. You can't shoulder your arms at every ball in the
I'm
over.
a chance of tipping the Dragons head-to-head. There you go.
Okay, all right, you Flair.
Yep. Flair. Okay, let's go to Flairville. Sloan, one of the great anticipators. He scored 5 tries in 3 games on the wing this year. Love him. Absolutely love him.
Right.
And if you want to get real funky, put him with the line, because if he scores 2, then they are cashing in.
All right, the 5:30 game, 4:30 Queensland. Cowboys desperate against Canberra. Sean, your flair for this game, please.
That's what worries me a touch here, that the Cowboys are desperate. I'm willing to forgive the Raiders' result last week. That first half, I've never seen halftime stats like it. They had a man in the bin. It was unbelievable. They made 150 more tackles in one half of footy. Forget about it. And I think Sticky might just have them foaming at the mouth here. Raiders to win. I don't think they can win in a shootout. It's got to be a bit of a tight affair. Raiders head-to-head. But I'm also throwing in the unders there as well.
All right, let's get to the match of the night. Cronulla versus Canterbury. But Canterbury are weakened, obviously, with their outs. Although it's still a pretty good-looking side. No Burton, no Kickow. Hamlin Wellaire's missing for Cronulla. They should have won last week by 60, the Sharks. They only won 27-12, but they had that game shot to bits. 11.5 is the start. This feels too big, this line. I just respect Canterbury too much.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe assessment, this one. When I purely based off numbers, I got it to 10.5, and I was shocked in myself that I got it that big. So this is all set up. Not much between them. Night game, lowish total, I think. 2 pretty good defensive sides. When you throw in Burton and Kickow, the attack gets ripped out of it, and we saw last week. Now, to be fair, Para really put them under the pump. They weren't making many metres. I think they're going to have to rely on a bit of a dour affair, the Bulldogs, to win here.
Okay, so average kick return metres for the opposition with Burton. That towering bomb buys them time, 100 metres a match or thereabouts. Without him last week, close to 300. They lose a lot from that. So the consequence of that is they were running for about 50 metres a set. Without him, they run for about 35, 37. They go through the floor. This kicking game is so important. I know there's rain around. Sharkies up.
Really?
Yeah.
Last week's the first week I thought, geez, they miss Kiros.
They miss him too.
They miss that punch out of the back, because that's they don't necessarily have. Montoya's pretty decent at it, but they need Kiros.
Josh Curran to put the whistle away as well this week. That'd be good.
Right. I thought we were heading down a coach's corner path.
We are. Let's do this, folks. Let's do this. Okay.
Oh, can we just appreciate the deep breath? Deep breath Joel took for this?
You know why I did that? Because I don't know if this was concerted, whether this was contrived, whether this was a plan. I hope it was. But this certainly didn't happen when I was playing, where you manipulate defence. I'll watch this try. Okay, so Nico Hines ultimately scores a try. Run me through this set and what's happening. Not much doing.
Well, you think they're setting up for a left side play here.
Okay.
That's what you think.
Let's keep an eye on the 4-man in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep an eye on where he is, right? Now there's another little mundane hit up. Not much doing. Where's the 4-man now? All righties. We've got the fishing reel out and we're bringing him in. One more. Not much doing. Okay. All right. Pretty nothing set so far. Sharkies fans might be saying, what is bloody doing here? But pause this. Where's the 4-man now? He started out there. See the Friday night footy? He was out there. See ya. Ta-da. Try time.
Untouched, Nick.
I hope it was contrived.
That is an unforced defensive error, isn't it? There was no reason for him to be there.
But what I'm saying is, at the start of that play, he was about 10 metres in from the sideline. And come the third play, he's actually hugging the post. And that's when they got the long ball from the dummy half and went bang. Their left edge is a problem. So for me, I'd be looking towards those Penrith players. Alamotti's wearing a cape at the moment. Nice. I'm looking to the right-hand side for Penrith.
Very nice. Oh, that's a good coach's corner. Why aren't you coaching?
That's 3 from 3.
I wouldn't be a very good coach there.
That's
I'd love to get him behind the scenes, like a Frank Panisi, but couldn't coach.
I've got the flair, and I think we've got some confusion here, which might be my fault. Yeah, Satili Tupinol, I thought was starting. He's not. He's the 16. He may start. But I wanted him any time try scorer because he's $6. Look, Canterbury won't have many points in them.
Wow.
And I think if they have points, it's going to be crash plays. That might be the order of the day, like a Tupanua charging onto it. But the one I really want is alternate under 33.5. Alternate under, it's going to rain. If Canterbury play well, they're going to keep it down and dirty, and it's about $6 for alternate 17-16.
Like that.
15-14. That's what I'm thinking. Good. Right. Manly versus Parramatta. Woo, Parramatta $6.05. The question here, two questions. Manly, how are they going to react to the DCE news? I am not convinced they won't boo Daly Cherry-Evans, but I don't think they will, Joel. I think he has given them great service.
They won't boo him.
I would doubt it. I doubt it. And 10 years ago, they would have booed him. A lot of water under the bridge.
Can't.
How can you be a normal human and boo him?
Yeah, Manly love their own more than anyone loves their own. And he is definitely one of their own. Like there's no doubt that this is not a Dylan Brown situation. Turbo's back, by the way. 18.5. I fear, Sean, Parramatta gave everything they had last week, and it was, unfortunately for them, not good enough. They just don't have points in them. Manly at Brookie this year, 40 and 40. Why wouldn't they do it again, would be my question. On perhaps a wet track.
I'm a little bit of a broken record, but you're going to have to check the weather. If we get a nice, dry Sunday afternoon, I really have some fears for Parramatta here, because I think if I had to guess which way the team's going to react, I think they're going to be up for it. They're not angry at Cherry at all. You get Tommy Turbo back against the Parramatta side. They've conceded 6 tries from beyond halfway in the opening 3 games. They've conceded 21 line breaks. Only worse, the only other worse side is the Cowboys than them. They just leak like a sieve, and if you've got Turbo back, you've got Jason Saab on one side, you've got a Hopper on the other, there's a Kohler, there's just fast men everywhere. If they shift the ball, they're scoring tries from anywhere. And that 18.5 will be gobbled up very quick.
Saab, to me, looks good for multiple tries here, Joel Kane.
Okay, so how many points do Manly score, in your minds?
48.
That's disrespectful.
What's your guess, Dan?
They only have to score 30 and they'll cover this line.
If they score 30, 48, let's call it the middle, let's call it 42?
That's 39.
39.
Come on.
Close enough, Joel.
Daly Cherry-Evans, $3.25.
Excellent.
You can't see him.
Look at it.
Excellent.
Look at it.
Flairville, you can't see. Like, please. Narrative.com.
Narrative. That's what we're all about,
maths.
Sugar.
I used to be good at maths.
All right.
There's 3 different types of people, Dan. Those who are good at maths and those who aren't.
Did you do your Himalaya Kawatu bit, Sean, or do you want
No, we can park that for another time.
Well, we don't have to, but
That's
all right. Okay, fair enough. We've got a temperamental one. Joe Offahengawi's 200th game. I'm not sure how much that's going to inspire them. But,
I couldn't believe he's got a 200.
Yeah.
He's played a grand final, Broncos 2015. I thought Dean Hawkins was very solid for Parramatta.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, solid. Yep.
Solid.
Yep.
Brought something very different to what Ronald did in the first couple of games. He's got a big boot on him, Dino, and they probably needed that.
Ruben made a mess of your Jesse Arthur's season. No, he didn't make a mess of it, but I mean...
What's he gone to, Ruben? 6, is he?
No, 5 each. He hasn't made a mess.
Centre. Centres don't win it.
Tigers versus... Centres don't win it. Centres don't win it. Tigers versus Warriors, 6:15. What a game. Well, I think it's going to be a great game because I think it's going to be close, and I have not got a clue how this is going to play out, and I don't believe I have the flair for this. I do not, as I shuffle my papers like Sam Newman. I have a much higher opinion of the Tigers than you two. I am not a subscriber of the simple fact they've beaten 2 teams who are yet to win a game. I think, yes, that's true. I think there's something
Pretty
there.
good theory, though.
I think they're building. I think this version is going to be an inferior version of what they are in 12 weeks. Warriors, I can't get a handle on. No Roger, so Pompey to the wing. Rocco Berry is in. I've got to say this about the Warriors, Joel. $2.41, though, is a very good price.
Yeah,
I'm a Tigers believer, but $2.41 might be just too good to refuse.
It's a good price, but head-to-head, I'll be taking the Tigers. Campbelltown, up and about.
Yeah.
No Roger, no Dylan Walker now, no Dallin.
Chooks butchered a few last week over there.
Yeah.
That could have easily been a different result.
And tailor-made, right? So you had Manly coming off a big win at home.
Yep.
You had Roosters coming off a big win back at home. Now you're on the road. I'm keen on the Tigers, but I can't touch the 157.
I would think, talk to me about this as a player. I would think not easy flying. Going to New Zealand's a toughie. Coming from New Zealand's tough. Sunday night is probably one of the worst time slots they could get. Like
Off two big wins.
That's Sunday 8:15 their time. That doesn't feel. I know it's a long break. It just feels a bit off.
I can just see Jerome at home, big crowd there at Campbelltown, and they weren't great last week. So therefore, winning wallpaper, not necessarily. Benji's going to have them fired up.
So it was great. Appy Coruscant in the last 15, 20 minutes.
Terrell May.
Unbelievable. Terrell May was on fire. But Appy it was shelling peas for Appy. Won them the game. What I was really impressed with was Dream Buller's kick chase. Now, the really, really good sides do the absolute simple things the best. And this is probably not something I've seen a lot from Buller, but there was, I reckon, 3 or 4 occasions he was there putting them under the pump, but also with a cheeky little bat back as well. Look at him just cover the ground there as well. I want to see him in some open space. He gave away a penalty there, but that's okay. The effort was there. At every occasion and every kick that the West Tigers halves were putting up, he was in and around that plate, putting pressure on. That was really good.
I like, in general, the bat back from the chasing player because the odds of going up and plucking it out are minute. Much bigger chances that both of you are going to knock it on and it's going to go against you. You go up hand like that, all you're going to do is reel it back, and all the fullback can do is knock it on. I'll catch it, obviously.
And the ball is coming towards your kick chase.
And now we just need the little rovers, and that's what they're planning, clearly. It's a set move, bat it back, have the rovers around.
Sunday night, unders, Dan. Look at these two teams. The unders record for both of them so far in 2025. Small sample, 6 games I know, but you've got 5 green ticks. If you're closing your eyes and backing the unders for the games that these two teams have played, you are collecting, and you're collecting in a big way. And I think we might just see more of the same. Bit of a wet weekend around Sydney. It's a 6:15 game on Sunday. This could be dour.
What does it average out roughly, Shorty, off the top of your head?
It's less than 36.
I would
Less
guess,
than 36.
and this is a total guess, unders generally, since the start of last year, have come in 58-60% of the time. Unders have been, I know for me, any time I've had an unders best bet, it's usually saluted. Others have been more of a challenge. Unders have been pretty good for us.
Two things. The first couple of weeks was really high scoring, and the totals that we put up went through the floor, which actually meant the under was collected. The total was about 2 or 4 points higher than usual. My flair bet, straight off the back of that, the alternative total match points under. We're going under 33.5. So that average that we saw was 36 or thereabouts. I'm going a couple under to boost up the price. This could be dower.com.
Okay, well that's exclusively live on Fox League, and if you doesn't mean bad. A greater sale of a game, and we're on after that. It's Dower game. I don't believe it'll be Dower, by the way. Matty Johns and then us. Our best bets coming up right after this. Get them onside. All right, we're about to get to the meatloaf portion of the, what do we say, meatloaf, Joel Kane?
Don't be sad, folks. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
3 weeks we've done this, best bets. We put them together in the Get 'em Onside hub. And what is in the Get 'em Onside hub on the Sportsbet app? It's along with the feed and all those things. But
like all good hubs, Dan, you got to go there to find out.
Can I ask this? What's the Joel bingo or the Kane bingo? Whatever, Sugar's bingo this week?
Well, again, you've got to go there and check it out, which means I forgot.
It means he has forgotten. So let's awkwardly transition to this. All right, we've sort of intimated where we're heading here. Your best bet, Sean.
Saturday night, Sharks, Bulldogs, unders, under 47.5. That's a massive total. The attack has been ripped out of the Bulldogs, so that's in our favour. They have conceded a few points in the couple of games, the Bulldogs, but there's excuses. One was when Burton left the field and they reshuffled their defence. The Titans scored a few points. And then against the Dragons, a couple of tries late as well. I think we're going to see a really tight defensive battle between 2 really good defensive sides.
Can we have a bet between us, just for whoever pays for, well, it's corporate, but let's pretend, who's going to pay for next week's coffee?
Yep.
What will that line will not start at 47.5. I think that'll be 43.5 by the time
I was going to say 44.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's a bet then. For me, law of attraction.
No. Joel, don't.
You looked at me, you did the dummy. You went like this, little show and go.
Don't jump the gun. I've got the Bulldogs in that game. Marries up nicely, actually, because if Sharks Bulldogs go under, that's more likely Bulldogs are going to cover the 11.5.
Yep.
Now, Joel, you are the anchor once again. No,
Joel
for the first time.
An anchor. I think Daly Cherry-Evans, law of attraction, he's been everywhere, man. They have got a big, big start in this. They're back at 4 Pines Park. I can see him just running over, scoring a try, maybe doing one of these, when they grab the jersey.
badge.
I can see one of those.
What is the law of attraction and what does it have to do with Daly Cherry-Evans?
Law of attraction is when something's in the universe so often that it comes to fruition, right? So $3.25, anytime try scorer.
That's going to fatten those odds right up for that multi, Dan. $3.25.
Just don't
It's going to need
question each other, don't question me, please.
Well, hang on. You've already had one best bet this year. You've been outstanding, but in Vegas, you went for glory.
Got greedy.
Canberra 1-12, and they won 13 plus. So just be careful. That just about wraps it up, boys and girls. Thank you very much for watching once again. We'll do it Sunday. We've reminded you 1,600 times, but 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 Queensland after Matty Johns. And then we'll see you here next Thursday. We're just on all day, every day, it seems. Bye-bye.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.